a mantra which he used for prostrating before Sri Krishna. It ends with, as you can notice, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. We discussed the concept of Guru and who is the supreme Guru of all Gurus. He is Satchidananda. And all the incarnations of God, the divine manifestations, are Satchidananda himself in the human form. It's a great mystery how the infinite and the absolute can come down in the human form in flesh and blood. This concept is there in all the religions, particularly the Christian religion. They call it Word made flesh. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. The first line of St. John's Gospel. So this word, Swami Vivekananda says, the Hindu calls it Maya because the power of God. Sri Krishna also in the Bhagavad Gita mentions that he incarnates himself, takes a human body by taking hold of his own Maya. Sambhavami Atmamayaya. Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavami Atmamayaya. I am Aja, unborn, Avyayatma, immutable, undecaying, unchanging. And he is Ishvara, Supreme Lord of all beings. But taking hold of his own Maya, Atma Mayaya, Sambhavami, I take a human body. So he's called in English, he's called incarnation. In Sanskrit, we call it avatara. Avatara means avatarana, coming down. He is, as it were, coming to the human plane. And Swami Sharadanandaji, who wrote the Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga, explaining the psychological and the philosophical implications of an avatara, says the avatara combines in himself both the human and the divine. He has a divine aspect and he also has a human aspect. He behaves like a human being, like all of us. He also has sorrow, he also cries, he also laughs, he also eats food, he also breaks his arms, he also feels the pain. And Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara Bhagavatpada, he will add as if he is born, as if he feels the pain, as if he is in the human form. If somebody asks you later in time, you have studied Vedanta in the Ramakrishna Center, can you explain Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta in just one word? Remember this word, Eva. Eva means as if, nothing is happening actually, as if it's happening. In our case, it is as if we have been born in the human body, as if somebody is a male, as if somebody is a female, as if somebody is a scholar, as if somebody is not studied much. The whole world is only as if world. You can popularize this. Some novelists are there. You can say as if world, A-I-S-F, as if world. It may pick up also. Eva, Shankara says, Jatavaniva bhutanugraham kurvanniva drishyate, lakshyate. So as if he is having a human body, as if he is behaving like a human being. So does it mean that he is pretending? No. Just like the king of kings is playing in a novel or in a drama as a beggar. He knows within his heart of hearts he is none of these. So all of us also are taught to behave that way. We are the king of kings, we are the queens of queens, we are the supreme reality, Nitya Shuddha Mukta Ananda Swarupa. But we are crying all this only a drama which you are enacting in the human body. But to onlookers like us, it appears as if it is real. Sri Ramakrishna solved the problem with a very simple statement in Bengali in the Athamrita, in the Gospel. Panchabhutar phade Brahma pode kade. Brahman himself is weeping, ensnared in the five elements. Ramchandra wept at the loss of Sita Devi, although he was a Parabrahman himself. He did not know at the time of weeping that he was infinite and absolute. There are several theories. I don't go into that. He knew at the same time he was covering it with his own Maya. That is one way. The other is when he took the human form, he has to behave like a human being because otherwise human beings will not relate to him. If God comes in a human form and behaves like a God, then people are afraid of approaching him. He'll be thundering miracles and he is behaving in a superhuman way. Then human beings will be put off. So God wants to make people come closer to him by behaving as a human being so that human beings can approach him, have access to him. But knowing full well he is beyond all this. There is an interesting story, an incident in Ramakrishna's life. You know, Ramakrishna suffered terribly from cancer, feeling terrible, so much pain he was feeling. Then one of his disciples, Harinath Chattopadhyay, Swami Turiyananda later on, to him he said, how much I'm suffering, such a terrible pain, excruciating and all that. Swami Turiyanandaji later, Hari at that time, Hari smiled and said, I know you're full of bliss. I can see that you're full of bliss. Ramakrishna said, I'm suffering so much and you are saying that I'm so joyful. Then again insisted, Shala dhore peleche. This fellow has found out. That means the truth of truths is that he doesn't suffer. He is always the infinite and absolute, but behaves as if he's a human being so that we can access him. One of the most important criteria, the characteristics of an incarnation of God, an avatara, or even Ishvara, even before he incarnates, according to Ramanujacharya, the great the proponent of the Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, is a saulabhya, sulabha. Sulabha means very easy to access. Bhagavan also, when he comes down as a human being and teaches in the Gita, for example, it is so simple, direct, straightforward, and sulabha. Late revered Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj, who taught us the Bhagavad Gita when we were brahmacharis, repeatedly used to say that the entire Bhagavad Gita is a book revealing the avatara tattva of the Supreme Being. It is not bhakti to Sagana Brahman. You know, Sagana Brahman and Nirguna Brahman are two aspects of Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is something is beyond absolute. Ashabdam asparsham arupam abhyayam tatharasam nityam agandhavachayat anadyanantam mahata paramadhruvam nijayadan mrityumukhat pramuchyate gatoparashad. It is Ashabda, Asparsha, etc. It's beyond Akhanda Satchidananda. That is the Nirguna Brahman, where it takes gunas, attributes. He is kind, he is merciful, he is full of love to his children, and so on. They are called Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman is responsible for creation, dissolution, and the preservation of the universe. Nirguna Brahman is beyond, it does nothing. I don't know what he does anyway. Whether he also is not used, it is used. It is the neutral gender. So Saguna Brahman can be attained through devotion. This is standard. The Bhakti Shastras say you have devotion to Vishnu, you have devotion to Kali, you have devotion to Ganesha, whatever God, Ishta Devata they call it, chosen ideal. So this devotion is called bhakti towards Saguna Brahman. There is another type of devotion, which is Saguna Brahman when he takes a human form as an avatara. To recognize him is first not easy. Even if you recognize him, you will always have a doubt that how can this person be an infinite Brahman? See, Ramakrishna used to say humorously, there's a great meaning in this throat cancer. What is the meaning? The meaning is that this will now divide the devotees into two. Clearly, there will be a division of people who are genuinely drawn to me and people who run away seeing me suffer. How can God suffer? God himself has come in a human form. That's what he is claiming, others are claiming. How can such a God suffer? He is like us. So many people are put off. It happened in Ramakrishna's own life. Many people are put off, but God cannot suffer. How can God suffer? So they will not know the real meaning and then be put off. The Bhagavan also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Mudhas, those who are confused, those who are deluded people, avajananti, they neglect me, they think low of me, because I am coming the human body, and all the problems of the human body I also have. Seeing me in the human body, they are put off, they don't accept me, they don't understand me. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is the history of Avatirna Bhagavan, the Bhakti Avatirna Bhagavan, and not only the Saguna Brahman. This you should first remember. This was the teaching I got from Swami Smarananandaji. This is not emphasized very much. If you read from this angle, everything will fall in place in the Bhagavad Gita. So this idea of the Avatara Tattva is elaborately discussed by Bhagavan, repeatedly Arjuna, who could not quite realize his Avatara, Avataratva, his incarnationhood. Constantly he was asking him, and then finally when the Bhagavan showed his Vishwarupa, the 10th chapter, the 11th chapter, then Sri Krishna, so Arjuna was flabbergasted, confused, frightened, shaking. Sa gadgadam bhita bhita pranamya. Not only one bhita, double bhita, bhita bhita pranamya. And he started almost crying. And then horripilations. He said, I can't bear this form. Please come back to your original form. All of us are blessed that God doesn't come to us. If God came to us, we'll not be able to bear his presence. It is not easy. I'll give a simple example in Holy Mother's life, Swami Sarada, Sri Sarada Devi's life. This one boy was very close to mother. He used to run errands. And mother was very affectionate. She used to feed him with sweets and all that. Swami Shuddhanandaji, he was a disciple of Swamiji. Then they called his boy, you see, you are a fool. You are living with the Divine Mother of the Universe, Jagat Janani. You go and ask her to give you bhakti and mukti. She can give anything she likes. Oh, is it so? I don't know. Memorize this sentence. Amake bhakti mukti pradhan karo. So he went on memorizing that. Go now. Shall we go? Yes, I can go to mother anytime. He goes up and mother is just sitting for puja. From a distance he saw some kind of power was preventing him from moving further. He saw mother's face. It's not an ordinary face. He went a few steps forward and came back. And mother could see that somebody is coming. Said, oh, what do you want, my child? Prasadik. Mother said, his prasad is there. He came down sweating profusely. Then he asked, did you tell him? What? I totally forgot everything. So it is not easy without preparation. So the whole of Bhagavad Gita is the story of God in human form. Manushim tanumashritam. And Bhagavan himself reveals to Arjuna that I am the Supreme Being come before you in the human form. Asito devalo vyasa swayanchaiva breveshime. Arjuna says, all the great rishis, Asito, Devalo, Vyasa, all of them have said you are Bhagavan. But you are also telling me yourself. Sarvameda dhrutam manye inmam vadasi Keshava. Oh Keshava, whatever you tell me now, I consider it to be absolutely true. Dhrutam. The parallel you can see in Ramakrishna's life. Master Moshe used to say, it is recorded in his conversations. The record of the gospel, Mahendranath Gupta used to say, Swayanchaiva Praveshime, how many times we have heard from Ramakrishna himself that he is Avatirana Bhagavan. How many times he has told us. But very difficult to have faith. If God himself comes and tells me that he is there, well, I have to check on that. That is the reason, logic, education. But you should not be naive and foolish. You can see by seeing, you can understand if he gives the grace. And to have devotion to Saguna Brahman, to Kali, Durga, Ganesha, then Shiva, etc., may be somewhat easy. But to have devotion to the Saguna Brahman incarnate as a human being is the most difficult, because it is not easy to recognize him, easy to have devotion to him. Swami Virajanandaji wrote that beautiful hymn on Ramakrishna Dashakam. There he says, Syat kadapi japayaga yoga bhoga saulabham durlabhantu Ramakrishna raga bhakti bhavanam. Yaga, bhoga, and all these various meditation, tapasya may be much easier. But to have raga bhakti, unflinching devotion to the Avatirana Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, is the most difficult. Unless he blesses us, we cannot have a devotion to him. So read the Bhagavad Gita from this angle, because I have been taught and trained in this angle. I have talked to many other Swamis in this respect, but very few insights you get into the Bhagavad Gita unless you read the Gita from the angle that is the Avatirana Bhagavan who is speaking to Arjuna. Just like I am speaking to you, he is speaking to Arjuna. Remember this. Both of them are human beings apparently. And how could Arjuna take him his own guru? It's not easy. And shivering with fear, Arjuna says, Sakheti matva prasabam niruktam, Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakheti, oh Krishna, I've been playing with you, I've been quarreling with you in fun. And how much of frolic and fun we had. I did not know your real nature. Please pardon me, please pardon. So the whole of Bhagavad Gita, if you look at this angle, as Swami Premeshanji used to say, Swami Suhitananji told me this, when you ask him. He told me, Premeshanji used to say that Bhagavad Gita is the spiritual biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna himself, we wrote an autobiography that will be Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit. You can see the parallels in the Bhagavad Gita. At every point, you can see the parallel with Arjuna and Narendra and Sri Krishna and Sri Ramakrishna. Jagat Guru, the word is used. That means he's the teacher of all teachers. Purveshamapi, etc. He was mentioning just now the Yoga Sutra. He is the teacher of teachers. He is the Adi Guru. And he alone is entitled to teach. All the others can teach only based upon his teachings, having derived some inspiration from him. The only person who is entitled to teach people is God himself, who takes the human form in order to approach human beings. There's a discussion in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, the Kathamrita. Particularly, Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar was not in favor of incarnations and avatars and all that. Girish Chandra Ghosh is strongly in favor. Then M is watching them. There's a beautiful statement there. Unless God comes down as man, how can man ever know God? See, you do not know where he is, what he is doing, who is he, what is his swarupa, what is his about, nothing you know. So you can never access him unless he comes down and enables you to access him. So the saulabhya, the easiness of approach, the easiness of accessibility of God enables him to come down as a human being, be born in the midst of human beings, suffer like a human being. At the same time, he reveals his divinity to very close people. The whole of Bhagavad Gita is a lesson in this. And Arjuna is representative of humankind. Arjuna is man. Man includes woman also. Arjuna is a human being like us. All of us are Arjunas. And we are taught by Bhagavan himself. What was Arjuna's problem? I have put Arjuna syndrome and Sri Krishna's remedy. What is Arjuna syndrome? What is Arjuna's problem? You know the story of Mahabharata, I suppose. Look at the context. The Pandavas did not want to go to war. They said, give us 5 villages. Said, no. Give us 5 houses, 5 homes. Said, no. Vina jodde chushagra medini odivana. Without war, without fighting you, we will not give you even land at the dimension of needle pin. So he had to go to war. Pandavas did not want to go to war. They were forced to go to war because Duryodhana insisted they will not yield. Same thing you can see the modern repetitions. Why Mahabharata is such an important scripture, much more than any other scripture. Such complex situations it throws up. Ramayana is a kind of monolithic structure. You can go through it the flow is very easy. Mahabharata is such a complex structure. Even the Vedavyasa composed, you know the number of shlokas in the Mahabharata? Can you guess? 100,000 shlokas. Mahabharata. And Vedavyasa, what an extraordinary genius he must have been. Genius is a very poor word. That's why they say, Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patranetra Enatvaya Bharata Daila Purna Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. O Vedavyasa Vishala Buddhi. That means his intelligence, his intellect, his genius is as vast as the entire universe. And his stenographer, you know the story, I suppose, is Ganesha writing with his tusk. And he put a condition, you should continually dictate non-stop. If you stop for a few seconds, there you go. Then Vedavyasa put a counter condition. Every word of what I say, you should understand, then only write. So he's quickly composing those thoughts. There are Ashu Kavis. I have myself seen so many. He must have seen very many more. You can see the medha, the genius of these people. Half a sentence we can't remember. If we memorize one shloka of the Gita, we fumble 20 times to be able to repeat it properly. And we pride ourselves as greatly educated people. So shame on us, we can't remember. Ashu Kavis is completely used to continuously recite. But there's a limit. Vedavyasa, whenever he found some shlokas he has to compose, then he wanted just to respite for a couple of seconds. Then he put a googly, the twister, so that Ganesha will not be able to quickly understand the meaning. That's called Vyasa Kuta. Kuta means a googly, a twisted shloka. So by the time Ganesha thought for a while, he composed a few thousand shlokas. There is a Vyasakuta also in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll come to that when we study it. He asked one Pandit, is there any Vyasakuta in the Bhagavad Gita as part of Mahabharata? There is yes. We'll discuss it later. So this is the story. And the entire Kurukshetra war, when this episode happened, the whole thing was narrated to Dhritarashtra. You know the story. Who did it? Sanjaya. So Sanjaya also was given a Divya Drishti, because how could he see? By Vedavyasa himself. Vyasa Prasadat, he said, by the grace of Vyasa, I got the Divya Drishti. The Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, is a narration, is a commentary. Kurukshetra war about to begin. This is Sanjay reporting live from Kurukshetra. The whole thing is being the live commentary of the Kurukshetra war. Arjuna coming to the battlefield. War is about to begin. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundram Dadho Mahashankho Bhimakarma Vrikodara. Every one of them was a huge conch. In those days, sound of conch was terrifying. So all of them started blowing their conch. Each conch also has a name. Panchajanya was the conch, the Krishna's conch. Devadatta is the name of the conch of Dhananjaya, Arjuna, and all of them. And they were beating the drums. Sashaddas tumulo bhavat. Tumula means terrible pandemonium. Navascha prithivim chaiva tumulo vyununadayan. Simply piercing the earth, heavens and the earth. Such a terrible war is about to take place. Arjuna is the army chief. The general of the whole army comes with great valor. If we read the first chapter, which is less read, we'll try to read it closely. Close reading of every line of the Gita will be very useful. Arjuna comes to the battlefield with so much valor. He is fully geared up for the war. The captain of the army, just before the toss takes place, Arjuna suddenly says, no, India-Pakistan World Cup final. Kurukshetra, they are our cousins, fighting all the time. Indian captain says, collapses in the field, give the cup to them, we don't want it. 100,000 million people are watching the television as well as directly in the ground. What happened to Arjuna? Close reading of the lines in the Bhagavad Gita will tell you what happened to him. And later on explained by the Bhashyakara Shankaracharya. Arjuna telling his driver, what was Sri Krishna's role? He was a car driver. He has to take care of the car and then wash them properly and then get ready. He tells Sri Krishna, oh Krishna, is about to take guard. You know, when you've seen the match is about to begin, the opening batsman takes guard. What does he do? Surveys the field. Who is at the middle of this? Who is in the long off or long on, and then leg slip and first slip, second slip. He surveys the whole field. Then the umpire. You must have seen all this. Exactly what happened. Senayor Upayor Madhye Pratham Sthapaya Me Achyuta. Look at the valor, look at the tone. Hey Achyuta. Oh driver, come here. Sri Krishna. Then he says, Senayor Upayor Madhye Pratham Sthapaya. Keep the chariot betwixt these two armies. Why? Yavadeta niriksheham ye tatra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priyajagirishavaha. I want to see the faces of people for the last time who have been so eager to be killed by me. These Duryodanas, they want to be killed by me. They are so eager that they should die at my hands. So I will see the faces of these people once. As long as I have not seen them, keep the chariot there. That was the valor. Don't think Arjuna was a coward and then collapsed. He came with a tremendous power, tremendous enthusiasm, and so much of valor. Arjuna was almost invincible. Everybody knew that. Then what does Sri Krishna do? Look at the Sri Krishna's, Krishna's called Mayavi, the intelligent, the tricks he used to play Because the war has to begin and Arjuna has to collapse, so the Gita will not come again. So if Arjuna fought the war and won the war or lost the war, Gita would not be there. So Gita has to be there. So he took it between the two armies. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, between these two armies, keep the chariot. That was the command. What does Arjuna do? Sri Krishna do? He took the chariot in between the armies. Where does he place it? Bhishma Drona Pramukhataha Sarveshancha Mahikshatam. He took it just in front of the Bhishma and Drona, kept it there. Uvacha, then he said, Partha, Pashetan Samavetan Kurunati. Hey Partha, see the faces of people who have come to fight with you. The reason? Partha has to see his own teachers fighting against him. Bhishma and Drona were the two great acharyas who taught him all that he knew. And these are the people who are going to fight. First, see. The moment Arjuna saw Bhishma, Drona, and all his kids and kin, then is it proper for me to kill? Flashback. You must have seen cinemas. We have stopped seeing movies. Flashback. Arjuna, Dronacharya teaching. No, not that way. You hold it like this. Yeah, just a little small. Shoot now. That's it. Once more, remembering. Bhishma taught me so much. Dronacharya was the person who taught me all that I knew. I am going to kill them. All my kids and kin are present here. All the people who have nourished me, all the people who have been so close to me, Acharya, Matula, Putran, Potran, Sakim, Stata, Hetanna Hantumichami, Gratopi Madhusudana. Then he's collapsed and says, even if I'm killed in battle, I cannot kill them. Suddenly, what psychological changes came to him and why? This is the plot of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Why did it happen to Arjuna? And what was the teaching which Bhagavan began with? The Bhagavad Gita begins with the highest teaching of jnana. In the second chapter, you will see. Then Arjuna starts crying, literally. Tears are coming out. The Bhagavad Gita, the verses are so interesting. Tam tatha krapaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Ashrupurna kulekshanam. Tears coming down. Visrajya sasharam chapam shoka samvigna manasa. Threw away the bow and arrow, throws away the gloves and the bat, sits in the middle, and then take this cup, give it to you. Everybody is watching what has happened to Arjuna. Sidanti mamagatrani mukham ja parishishyate vebhusascha sharire me romaharshancha jayate. I am unable to say. Nachashakrom vyavasthatum brahmate javave manaha. My head is reeling, my whole body is as it were burning. High symptoms of blood pressure. I'm feeling so terribly dry in my mouth. My head is reeling, I can't think properly. Simply sat down. Normally, what do you do to such people? Suddenly somebody collapses, somebody is not well, somebody faints. Immediately rush and then give him some glucose and then call a doctor, call an ambulance. Or if he's psychologically depressed, you give him a pep talk. Nowadays, pep talks are very common. Motivational talks. They earn a lot of money by motivating others, getting demotivated themselves. Who motivates whom? You have to motivate yourself. What should have been done? You think of this. Krishna was a sakha, a good friend. Krishna was his guru. Krishna was everything for Arjuna. It looks very cruel on the part of Sri Krishna. Remember, God is not so kind. God is very cruel. He will take away all your littleness, your selfishness, your jealousies and your animosity. Everything will take away, make you empty. You will cry and cry, but he will not leave you free. In the Christian mysticism, they call Christ the hound of heaven. Hound of heaven, you know what's a hound? Like a terrible kind of a dog. It simply, when it pounces up you, simply will take away all the flesh. Swami Vijnanandaji used to call Ramakrishna in Bengali. It's very interesting, very difficult to translate also. Kacha Keko Devata. He is a Devata, he is a god who eats raw flesh. Usually cook flesh and offer to God. All of us have been simply swallowed by Sri Ramakrishna, whether we knew it or not. Simply he has swallowed us. So Sri Krishna, instead of giving a pep talk, giving a consolation, he has a whip in his hand, takes the whip and gives him severe thrashing, not physically, but psychologically. Arjuna, what is this? When did this kind of klivata, klaibyam, he uses. Klaibyam means that you are behaving as if you are such a cowardliness. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tattva uttishta. Come on, get up. He gives him such a powerful dose. Again, Arjuna starts crying. How can I katham bhishma vaham sankhe drodam chavar madhusudana yishavi pratyotsami pujarho madhusudana. By killing my own gurus and smearing the kingdom which I get by the blood of my gurus, do you think I will be enjoying the kingdom? Is it proper for me? Why are you forcing me to do this? What is the problem? This is analyzed by the Bhashyakara Shankaracharya by asking two questions. Why did Arjuna suddenly collapse? He came with so much of valor, and even when he entered the war, he was very confident of himself, full of self-confidence. And he collapses by seeing his own gurus, Acharya, Madhvala, Bhratara, all his relatives and friends, they are mine. And after completely getting psychologically devastated, he simply sits down, starts crying. Nayortsya yadi govinda muktva tushnim babhuvaha. The first chapter ends with this. Nayortsya, I will not fight. Visrajya sasharam chapam, throwing away his arrow and bows, bow and arrows. He says, I will not fight. He tells Sri Krishna, simply sits, starts crying. This is Arjuna's position. Sri Krishna, instead of giving him some motivations, giving him some medicines, or giving him some encouragement, slaps him. See, God's slap is very important. You remember a similar slap as Ramakrishna gave to whom? Rani Rasmani. Rani Rasmani had come to the temple. Remember, she was the queen of the whole estate. And what was Ramakrishna's official position? He was the most ordinary pujari, earning about 7 rupees per month. And he said, I will not sign any document. If you give the money, you give, I don't care. He didn't sign, but still they paid him that money. And is the lowest position officially. She is the queen of the whole estate. In the presence of everybody, gives him a tight slap. I said, even hear this kind of thought? She was thinking of the lawsuit. But look at the greatness of that lady. She understood immediately. What is the significance of this? Avatara is always ahankara bhanjana, darpahari. Anybody has any ahankara, he will simply smash it, he will simply finish it. That is the significance of the Kaliya Mardana. Kaliya was a serpent, so I think 1,000 hooded or something. Sri Krishna danced on it. That means ego takes 100,000 different forms. I am a scholar. I am a very rich man. And I have a beautiful figure. So many different kinds of egos. And Swami Atmapriyanandaji, who was my mentor, used to say, the worst type of ego is that I am a holy man. This is not, this Holy Mother said this. Sharada Devi said this. You know, Sharada Devi used to wear a white cloth with a small red border. All of you know this. She used to show that cloth and tell people, Itai bhalo, girva purle ahankar hoy. This is better. If you wear the ochre cloths, this girva, immediately you feel egoistic. I am superior to these people. This woman, she didn't make pranams to me. Now let me see. Immediately you feel that I am somebody. And the worst type of ego, even better than that I have no ego. Some people say, have you seen anybody so egoless as me? No, Mara, you are so, yeah, that is true. I have no ego at all. In how many 100,000 ways the ego comes and plays there. So the Bhagavan always comes as a Darpahari. He can bear anything except egoism and hypocrisy. Examples? Pratap Hajra, Mahimacharan Chakravarti. You know these characters in the Gospel? These characters you'll be very familiar with. If you read the Gospel like a story and a drama, this wonderful characters Ramakrishna lived with. Hajra was a very interesting character. Hajra used to think he knew everything. He's a great scholar. Sometimes he used to tell Ramakrishna, now I have understood now your greatness. Our goal hobe na to. Hope you will not get confused again. No, I will. Again, when he took the snuff and it was a pandit, then everything he forgot. And Ramakrishna used to instruct his disciples very intimately in a certain way. And Hajra will be just sitting at the doorstep. The moment these young disciples came out, he will catch hold of them, teach just the opposite. Ramakrishna gets irritated once. Shala ekhan ka shah mat ulte diche. He is trying to completely undo whatever I have done. Then Ramakrishna's only way is Divine Mother, Kali, straight went to Bhavatarani, Ma, Hajra ke kante shuriye dao, ekhan ka shah mat ulte diche. Remove this Hajra from here. He is trying to undo whatever I have done. Then came to Hajra and said, I have told Mother to remove you. Look at the innocence. Then 1 day, 2 days, 3 days gone, Hajra is not going. Hajra comes and tells Sri Ramakrishna, Koi, ami to jai nahi, bhalai achi to karo. So I have not gone anywhere, I am here. Then Sri Ramakrishna gets confused. Oh, I think it is not the will of the mother. All right, let us stay together. Because of his hypocrisy, Sri Ramakrishna did not like him. But he was a good friend of Narendra. That's interesting. Because he used to argue. Whoever used to argue, Narendra was very fond of. And Sri Ramakrishna was dead against argument. The drama of Ramakrishna Jagat, if you see, is so interesting. Sri Ramakrishna says, Hajra has to wait for a long time. I cannot give him grace now. But Narayan fought with Sri Ramakrishna. You have to give him blessings. And he had to. Narayan is pleading. So catch hold of Narayan. So there's a trick which I'm trying to tell you. Somehow catch hold of Narayan, for which you should do his work. Be sincere, be honest, be pure, do his work. Catch hold of him. If he pressurizes, Ramakrishna cannot refuse you. So that's the story apart. And Mahimacharan Chakravarti is full of vanity and egoism. These two things the Lord cannot bear it. So what was the teaching Sri Krishna gave in the second chapter? Highest jnana and ajatavada. In Advaita, the highest jnana is called ajatavada. Ajata means the world has never been produced at all. There are so many different theories of creation of this world. If you say, how was the world created? Which world are you talking about? I don't see any world at all. Gaudapada Acharya, who is the guru of Shankaracharya, wrote this Mandukya Karika and the Mandika Upanishad, propounding the Ajatavada. If you get mukti, if you get jnana, will the prapancha go away? Samsara go away? He says, yes, of course, provided it ever existed at all. Prapancho yadi vidyeta nivarteta samshaya. Where is the prapancha? Prapancha is not there at all. There's nothing which was born, nothing which was get liberated. So the supreme shloka, of which Swami Turiyananda was very fond, Shankaracharya quotes it again, the Vivekachudamani, na nirodho na chotpattir na baddho na cha sadhaka, na mumukshurvai racho mukta ityesha paramarthata. There is nobody who is in bondage, nobody who is liberated, nobody is struggling for liberation. There is no world ever existed. This is the supreme truth. This is the teaching which Sri Krishna gives Arjuna in the very beginning. This has to be noted well, how Sri Krishna is pitched upon this highest teaching of Ajatavada to Arjuna in the very second chapter, a person who is depressed, unhappy, completely devastated, psychologically finished. This is not my statement, this is a statement by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. He says, second chapter, Arjuna was given the highest Ajatavada, all that was to be given to him. But Arjuna could not understand this. Still he was confused, so he had to go through the other 17 chapters, he says. Why he gave this? Shankaracharya says, in the second chapter, in the very beginning, he says, what is Arjuna's problem, Arjuna syndrome? Aham esham mama ete iti bhranti pratyaya nimitta. Shokamoha came to him. Shokamoho pradarshito. Arjuna showed his shoka moha. Shoka is grief. Moha is delusion. Because of what? Aham esham, I am theirs. Mama ete, they are mine. So the moment he had the view that I am theirs and you are the ahankara and mamakara, immediately a bhranti pratyaya, so it's called bhranti pratyaya, which is actually ultimately untrue. Then shoka moha came to him. So what is the way to remove this bhranti pratyaya, aham and mama? Throughout the Gita, you will see one underlining current, ahankara and mamakara. Second chapter at the end, nirmamo nirahankarasya shantimadi gacchati. If you want peace, mamakara and ahankara, you remove. Middle of the Gita, 12th chapter, adveshta sarvabhutana maitra karunaye vacha nirmamo nirahankaras samadukha sukha kshami. Last chapter, 18th chapter, ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchya nirmama shanto brahmabhuyaya kalpate. Ahankara and mamakara, the I and mine. I used to wonder, ahankara is good enough. Why mamakara? Mamakara is mine. Ahankara is I. I is enough. But why should you also talk about the mineness, mamakara? One answer which I could myself discover was, the I cannot stand alone. Carefully watch this. What is the I? The I cannot stand alone. If you isolate the I from all the hooks to which it is clinging, the moment you take it separately, it dies. It has to live and survive by clinging on to something as mine. My book, my wife, my children, my family, my salary, my company, my education, and those who write books. If you give them the slightest criticism of their book, they'll flare up like anything. Just, do you see my book? Maharaj, yes, I've seen. How is it? Maharaj, wonderful. Yes, you are the right person you can understand. Suppose you say, Maharaj, it's true, but I don't like it. How do you know about my book? Because I identify myself with that book. So the I identifies itself as innumerable objects, gross and subtle, ideas, my idea. See, I has to survive through the my, and therefore I-ness and the mindness, these two together constitute what is called Maya. Ramakrishna defines the Kathamrita, Ami, Amar, Itai, Maya. I and mine alone is Maya. Somehow it comes to Arjuna at that time, my kith and kin, my gurus, my, I and I, and therefore Bhranti Pratyaya came to him. And for the Bhranti Pratyaya to be removed, the only one medicine which is necessary, which alone can remove this Bhranti Pratyaya, is the highest Atmapryananda. This is Shankara's definition, Shankara's explanation why Arjuna has given the highest Atmapryananda from the very beginning of the second chapter. Without this, it cannot just go. But Arjuna could not take it. Then, third chapter again, he says, I'm completely confused. If you say jnana is greater, then why are you pushing me in this terrible karma? Jayase chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani khore mam niyojayasi keshava, and so on. So again he explains, 1-2 more chapters Arjuna is slightly quieter. 5th chapter again he is confused. See, all of us are Arjuna's position. We get some conception. We get some clarity. We are very happy. Oh, I went to the ashram whole day, spent in Guru Purnima, etc. The moment you go back to work, again some confusion comes to you. So this is the nature of the human mind. Just to show this, again and again and again and again, the scripture has to be studied. And the Bhagavan has to speak in your heart. That's why again and again read it. The moment you get confused, again you read it. You get some clarity. After some time, again Mahamaya comes and covers you. So Ramakrishna gives the example of a pond, a pukur, which is covered with moss. You remove the moss, clear water, again they come dancing, again they confuse. This happens to all of us at every point. This is the nature of Maya, this is the nature of the world. So the Bhagavan's words have to be remembered, studied, memorized. I will want all of you to memorize the Gita shlokas. I will make you memorize if you cannot or do not, because they are the greatest mantras. Whole life, this one book can save you in all kinds of crises. More of this later. Some more mundane things. Many people told me that they are unable to log in and pay. There is an email address which is given to you. You can contact that email. They will immediately respond to you. Whatever is to be done, the team will do it. Second, somebody feels that suppose they miss it, what's going to happen? Some people are worried at what is going to happen in the year of the Lord or 20 years later. So don't worry about all this long planning, etc. Begin now. So if somebody misses, we will keep a track of who is attending. Attendance will be there with us. We will send you what you have missed will be sent to you so that you can view it later on at your own time. Even if we also miss, please write to us immediately. Just one line saying that I missed that particular class, I want the recording. Or we have a very efficient IT team. I can more or less assure you, give us just 48 hours by which to respond. Working hours, of course. Number 3 is all of you have any facility for recording at your own places? What you're viewing?
YouTube live.
No, YouTube I will not put it. No. We will record. So in that case, but those who can not watching from here, they are watching from elsewhere. So will you be able to send them?
Yeah. You can say on the Google Drive, and we can share them.
So otherwise, I can also help you. Once in a month, whatever was taught during this month, I will send you a record so that even if you had seen it, even if you heard it, I'll give you sufficient time for you to forget. So that I can send it to you. Or if we'll be in touch with Gaurav and Nitish are the 2 coordinators. And Nitish Rai Parvani and Gaurav Gajjar, these are the 2 coordinators. Their coordinates have been given to you, their email IDs and their telephone numbers. For any problem academically, then you can please contact them. You can also write to us in the email which is given there. And You watch it repeatedly. Once, if you may slightly understand or misunderstand, and watch it repeatedly so that the misunderstanding may be deeper or understanding may dawn. Because these things, again and again, you have to see. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Nainam Chandanti Shastrani, there is a shloka. Next shloka says, Achedyoya Madakyoya, which is repetition of the same thing. Punurukti is a dosha, is a defect in speech. You can't be reiterating the same thing again and again. So Shankara raises this question in the Bhashya. Why is it there's a punurukti? Why is Bhagavan repeating the same thing? No, no, no. In the case of scripture, in the case of Bhagavan, there's no punurukti. Because such a difficult thing to understand. So different words he uses and different terminology in the gospel also it is there. He repeats again and again so that it fixes in your mind. In the gospel, you can see so much of repetition. You know Hridayara Mukhopadhyay, the nephew of Ramakrishna, he served him very much and also tormented him also sufficiently well. Then he comes to Ramakrishna, Mama, बार बार आग कोचा करना बोलते uncle, his uncle, why are you repeating the same thing again and again? Ramakrishna got irritated. Shut up, 1000 बार बोल तोड़ की रे. I will repeat again, 10,000 times I will repeat. That means our dull minds need constant hammering, otherwise they will not understand. That's why you can repeatedly go and listen to the whole thing again and again. But I insist that you get by heart the entire Bhagavad Gita. Don't give me excuses. They are such a genius that you can't remember things. You go deeply into the philosophical aspects. I know all that stuff. I've heard enough and more about all this. I insist that you shall memorize because these are all great mantras. In fact, I will tell you which are the things which need to be memorized. You need not memorize everything, but whatever I say you should memorize, you have to memorize. I will treat all of you like school children, if you don't mind. Because these teachings are so precious. We are so eager, thanks to Swami Sarvasthanji's support and the cooperation of all of you, we are able to start this. Remember, these are highly precious teachings. These things should not get lost. Your next generation, your children, your grandchildren should grow up with the Gita. You should create an atmosphere at home so that everybody, like cricket match, like football match, they'll watch this Gita, repeat it, get conditioned by Gita. Don't say we do not condition you. You have to condition them in the positive way. Swami Ashokanta once said, we are very liberal, we don't tell any children what to do. Do you not tell a child about the toilet discipline? Go to the toilet. Don't use anywhere. So when it comes to toilet discipline, you are so particular. When it comes to religion, you become extremely ultra-liberal. This ultra-liberalism should go. You should tell your child, tell this daughter, you have to do this. Don't give her any freedom otherwise. Because these are high thoughts that you're giving to them. They will understand how precious they are when they grow about 10 years, 15 years, and they will teach their children. So let us make a small beginning with the grace of Sri Krishna. Perhaps we will be able to be successful. I request all of you not to miss any class, unless it is extremely essential that you need to miss. In that case, we'll catch up. If I miss any class, otherwise you should have asked that question. Sometimes I may be away. I will try, by God's grace, unless I become desperately ill, I will try that is recorded exactly at that time it is played. And some people have asked me, the USA people, the time zones and all that. So what we have decided is, we'll find out their time zone, we'll record the whole thing, we'll put the autoplay. Exactly at their time, it will play. Now, technology is very easily available. Thank you so much. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.